Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about baby sleep. So, as most of you know, both of my babies sleep 12 hours through the night, or have been sleeping 12 hours through the night. I'm going to get into Ellie in a second and what's going on with her. We've been having some issues with Ellie for about the past week, but it's understandable with what she's been going through, so I'll tune y'all into that in a minute. I do want to give a quick disclaimer that you're not going to agree with everything I say. You don't have to. This is just what I agreed to do with a sleep trainer, and that my pediatrician said it was okay to go ahead and start doing with both of my babies. So I do talk about this with professionals. It's not like I just decide to do it, which is okay if you do. Moms know best, you know your babies, and that's okay. But I have consulted with sleep experts on baby sleep, and this is just what I've learned. Every baby is different though. Even though baby sleep cycles tend to be the same, that does not mean that your baby is going to have something work for them that works for mine. That's not a guarantee. But I will say that it has worked for both of my babies. And it has worked for 4 of my friends' babies as well after I told them what I've been doing. So we're doing something right. You don't have to do everything that I say though. That's not why I'm making this video. I've just had a lot of people ask me how I got my babies sleeping through. And so this is how. This is not me saying that this is the only way or this is a right way to do it. It's just me saying that this is what worked for my babies. So don't get offended. There are certain things that have been proven to work best for baby sleep, like routines, which I'll get into in a minute, or an earlier bedtime, which a lot of parents will argue. Honestly, if you bring it up, they'll be like, no, my baby sleeps best if they go to sleep at 11 at night. That's not true. They may be sleeping all night, but that doesn't mean they're getting the best rest that they can get. So let's start with Bella and what I did with her. She was a great baby. She had issues. She had a milk protein allergy, and so I eventually had to stop pumping and feeding her. Because that's what I was doing, because we were never able to breastfeed because of her breathing issues. So I pumped. But she ended up being allergic to it, so we could no longer do that anymore. So around 6 weeks, I went to my mom's and I quit cold turkey. She went right onto formula full time. We had been supplementing a little because my supply was dropping so rapidly that I couldn't feed her just breast milk anymore. She was starving. So pumps just don't do well with my body. That's what I've learned through Bella and Ellie. With Ellie, we breastfed for a week. I tried pumping that first night after that week ended because I could no longer breastfeed, and my supply dried up overnight. I couldn't even get a drop out the next morning. So my body just doesn't do well with pumps. Anyway, so we stopped around 6 weeks, maybe a little more. She might have been 7 weeks, and at 5 weeks is when we started really supplementing with formula, and she slept through the night. When I say she slept through the night, I mean 10 hours. She slept 10 hours straight through the night, never once woke up. She did that for several weeks. But, here's the but. At 3 months, she became a different child. She hit her 4-month regression early, which they can do anywhere from 3 to 5 months. They have a 4-month regression, but it can be anywhere from 3 to 5 months. My child was waking up every 30 minutes, almost on the dot, screaming. She was still sleeping beside my bed. From birth, we had her swaddled with a passy and a rock and play, which I know is pretty controversial now, but it's all that she would sleep in. So that's what we did. You do what you gotta do. And it's not like I was sleeping hard all through the night anyway. I wake up throughout the night just on my own, just because I've always been that way. I wake up probably twice a night, and I just look over and check on the babies. It's not a big deal. So she did that until 3 months, and then she started this waking up thing. I did it for a week. I woke up every 30 minutes at night for a week. It got to the point where during the day I was passing out on the couch and just I couldn't remember falling asleep, and she would be in the swing beside me and she would start crying a little, and I'd be like jerk awake, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did I just fall asleep? And that would be all day long. So I reached a point of exhaustion where I was like, I can't do this anymore. We have to find a solution. So I talked to my pediatrician first. She told me that my child was gaining weight good enough. She was fat enough. She was growing at a wonderful rate. We didn't need middle of the night feedings anymore. She said it was perfectly fine for her to be sleeping through the night. If I wanted to try sleep training, I could, because that's why I had talked to her. So we did. We talked to a sleep trainer. There are people that specialize in baby sleep. It's hard though, because sleep training, everyone has a different opinion. Some people believe in cry it out. Some people believe in laying your baby down drowsy, and when they cry, pick them up. I mean, everyone believes in different things. That's okay. So find a sleep trainer that believes in what you believe. But we found one that we liked. So we found someone who was an expert in baby sleep. Talked to her very deeply about baby sleep. Here's the deal. Babies, their 4-month regression is their sleep cycles changing. So instead of having one deep sleep, it turns into several sleep cycles. So like every 2 hours, I think it is a new sleep cycle. So they go from light sleep to like deeper sleep to deep sleep to lighter sleep to light sleep, and then it all starts over again. So when they are reaching the next cycle, sometimes they will wake up and they will cry a little, and you think they're awake, but they're not awake. They're just drowsy, eyes still closed, crying. Bella would do this for naps too. Sometimes she would wake up screaming out of a nap. We weren't sure why, and that's why she was just switching sleep cycles. If you will just wait just a second and listen. 5 minutes. Give it 5 minutes. 3 minutes if 5 is too long for you, which I totally understand. 5 minutes feels like an eternity when your baby is crying. I get it. Give it 3 minutes. 2. Doesn't matter. Just sit and listen. Eventually, if it's a sleep cycle problem, they will just fall right back asleep. If something is wrong, your baby will keep crying. I promise. If they have pooped, they're going to keep crying. They're going to get louder. You're going to be able to tell that their cry is different. There is a difference between a hungry cry and a poop cry. There's a difference between a tired cry and a wet diaper cry. There's a difference. As a mom, you have to know your baby's cries, and you have to understand what's wrong. So if you go in after 5 minutes because they're getting louder and they're not quieting down. And you smell poop, change your child. If you think they're hungry, feed them. It's not a big deal. But here is what we did. Sorry. Oh my goodness. What we did was gentle cry it out. With Bella, she was waking up every 30 minutes. I was like, I'm done. I cannot do it anymore. Something has to give. So, what gave was her swaddle, her passy, and her rock and play. We cold turkeyed all of them. We moved her crib from her nursery where it was just sitting because she wasn't using it. And we moved it to our room and took one side off, pulled it flush with the bed, and there was just a little like indention where the mattresses met. So if she was to roll, she was going to roll right into me. Which she did several times, but since there's rails on both sides, she can't roll off the beds on either end. If she rolls right into me. So that happened once or twice. It's okay. I'm a light sleeper. It was never an issue. As soon as I felt her roll and she hit our bed and it squeaked, which I'll get into in a second, I was awake. So we realized what was waking Bella up all night long is the squeaking of our bed. So when we move even an elbow or shoulder, or we roll, or we readjust our head or anything, we can move a toe and this bed will squeak, I swear. So it was waking her up. My poor child would be going from her light sleep to a deeper sleep, and we would move and she would wake up because she was still in a light sleep. A lot of parents know this. You lay your kid down, they fall asleep, they're like 3 or 4 months old, you go to leave the room, the door cracks a little bit and you hold your breath and your baby starts crying because they're not in a deep sleep yet. Their sleep cycles are changing. They start from that light sleep now. So my poor child was never reaching a deep sleep. Every time she would be almost to a deep sleep, we'd wake her up. My poor kid. So what we did was we moved that crib in there just so she could start getting used to it. We cold turkeyed all the sleep crutches, all the sleep associations she had been having, and it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. There were so many times where I was like, please, I just wanna swaddle her. Can we just swaddle her back? And Jed was like, if you do, you're just gonna have to start right back over. And that always changed my mind. I'm like, okay, one more night. So we did that for maybe, don't quote me on this because it's been a long time. I'd say probably 4 days of her in our room beside our bed, in the crib. We were still waking her up. But she was sleeping better in the crib. She was waking up maybe every hour and a half, which was better than 30 minutes. So once she started sleeping like that, I said, we're over it. We're putting her in the nursery. It was time. You can tell with your babies when they're old enough, not to understand, but to be able to self-soothe. You can tell with your own children. Ellie has reached the point where I can tell that she's able to self-soothe now, so we are taking the swaddle away from her, actually starting tonight. So no more swaddling little Ellie. So that won't be a part of the night routine anymore. So I'll do an updated night routine video later this week probably, and let y'all know how that's going. So yeah, I mean, it's hard, but that's okay. You're allowed to have hard times with your kids. But here's the way I look at it is I'd rather have a hard week than a hard year of waking up with my child every single night. But you gotta be strict about it if your child is as stubborn as mine are. There are some kids that you can just be like, whatever, go to sleep at 10. whatever, and they'll sleep all night, and they wake up at 10, and you're like, yay, my kid sleeps great. That's okay. But my kids, no. If I were to put my child down at 10, she would be up at 3 in the morning. Swear. Bella, if I were to put her to sleep at 10, she would lose her absolute mind. So, it's just, every kid is different, and that's alright. But for my children, they say what is best for your kids is a bedtime between 7 and 9 o'clock. So if you're putting your kids to sleep any earlier than that, they're not going to have good restful sleep. If you're putting them to sleep any later than that, they're not going to have good restful sleep. If they are young. Here's the kicker. This is where a routine comes in. Very, very, very important. If your babies are babies, do not let them go past their bedtime any more than 30 minutes. If you have been putting them to sleep at 7 o'clock for a month and they've been doing great, don't keep them out until 10 and then try and put them to sleep and expect them to be fine, because they're babies and they don't get it. You will mess everything up. That's okay for one night. But what I'm saying is, don't make it a habit. Make it a habit to stay home. You have your babies. If you know it's time for your kid to go home and go to bed, then, no one's going to be offended if you're at a family get-together and you say, hey, it's 6:30, it's bath time, we have to go home. No one's going to say, that's stupid, why are you doing that? Everyone understands that you have babies. They're going to get it. It's okay. So that's what we have to do at family get-togethers, is say, hey, it's bath time, we gotta go. Our kids are getting fussy. They know that 7 is bedtime. If they get home any later than 7:30, it's not a pretty sight. And I don't enjoy it, and they don't enjoy it, so why would I do that? And you can tell when your kids aren't getting good sleep. Why would you want that for your kids just so that you could stay out an extra hour? Is it really worth it? So here's what I'm saying is, with Bella, we had to do a routine. Her routine was we would give her a bath with me. We co-shower. We still co-shower. She doesn't get baths by herself. We always have taken showers together. And now that I have Ellie, I hold Ellie and I wash Bella, and Jed's not here to help, so I have to do it. Why would I do them separately when I can just get them both done really fast? So, and I can wash my hair. It's wet. We got out of the shower not too long ago. So we all can get a shower in a matter of 15 minutes. And we do that every night. They don't get soaked every night unless we have like tacos. But, they get water every night, warm water. And once Ellie feels that, she knows, hey, it's bedtime. So Bella's been getting a shower with me. As soon as we got out of the shower, we would dry her off, get her in long sleeve fleece pajamas and an overnight diaper. I strongly recommend Huggies overnight diapers. Love them. They save my life. If your child is waking up in the middle of the night and wanting their diaper changed because there's too much pee, try overnight diapers, even if they're as young as 2 months. Ellie's been wearing Bella's size 5 overnight diapers the past couple of nights while I'm trying to sleep train her. So, do what you have to do. I love overnight diapers. So we would do long sleeve fleece pajamas because she's obsessed. I don't know why. Even in the summer, we don't know. So we do that, overnight diaper. She would get lotion on her head, her face, her neck, all the things. And then we would hold her and take her to turn on her fan. We have a box fan. We keep it on high in their room. It sounds like a dang airplane is in their room, but they love it. So that helps. That's why I'm able to talk as loud as I'm talking right now, and they're still asleep. So They can't hear a word I'm saying because it's so loud in that room. So there's that. And then I would run over, and during the day, I put water in their diffuser and put lavender and Breathe Easy in it because we've been having issues with snotty noses and coughs. So we put Breathe Easy in it now, but usually it's just lavender, and turn it on. And it has a light, and it rotates colors, and so it's just a really pretty night light. And I leave that one on. So we would do that so that it would run, and she would smell it, and she would see the light, she'd smile, and she'd know it's time for bed. We didn't used to read her a book before bed. She was the kind of baby where once she knew that that fan was on and that essential oil diffuser was on, she was done. She was like, it's time, guys. Where's the bottle? So she got rice cereal bottles before bed, which I know is controversial, but my doctor recommended it, and it's just what we did for her. We do the same thing with Ellie, but for a different reason, which I'll get into in a second, and why she's having issues sleeping right now. But with Bella, we did the rice cereal before bed, and I rocked her. I did not rock her to sleep. I rocked her to love on her, and then I would sing her a nice long song, and then I would kiss her, tell her night-night, I love you, and lay her in her crib, on her stomach. After we quit the swaddle, we had to do the stomach, which is okay for us because she was rolling. She had great head control. It was not an issue. If she didn't want to be on her stomach anymore, she could roll out of it. I made sure of that before we started putting her on her stomach. I watched her sleep for naps like that, and then we decided to do it for bedtime. I didn't just one night decide, hey, let's just try it on her stomach. I made sure she was okay before I did it. But she slept best like that. Y'all can see the sun going down, that's why it's getting darker. I'm sorry. I don't want to stop the video and turn the light on, so just bear with me for a second. So we did that, and then we would cover her up. She always had a blanket, which is another thing that a lot of people don't recommend, but my children have never had issues with blankets. I've never been scared of them pulling it over their face or anything crazy like that. They've always had really good hand-eye control, and they just have never had that issue. So I know it only takes one time, but I'm just saying I've never been afraid of that. They're perfectly fine. She was sleeping on her stomach anyway. She was fine. It was just like on her legs, so she was good. But she would get covered up, and then I would leave the room, shut the door and leave the room. We had to sleep train Bella. After that week of her being in our room, well, like 4 days of her being in my room, we moved her to a nursery, and we had to do gentle cry it out, where I would let her cry for 5 minutes at nap time. After I laid her down and I knew she was tired, we did a 3-yawn rule. If she yawned 3 times, on that 3rd yawn, she went to bed. 3 yawns, you're out. You go to bed. So she would yawn 3 times, lay her down. She would cry. That's all right. As soon as she started crying, not fussing, crying, we started a timer. After 5 minutes, I would go in there, pat her butt, tell her it's okay. We were done with the passy, so I couldn't give her a passy. And she wasn't hungry because I always fed her before her nap. I did the same routine as nighttime, except no cereal in the bottle and no diffuser, and I guess that's it. No bath. So she knew it was nap time because we didn't do all the things. So we did that, and then I would lay her down, say, night-night, love you, just like I do for bedtime, shut the door. She would fuss for maybe a minute, and then she would start crying. As soon as she started crying, start the timer. 5 minutes went by, pat her butt, tell her I love you, it's going to be okay, you're okay. She would quieten down a little bit, and I would leave the room. She was at the point where, you know when your kids get old enough that when they see you leave the room, they go hysterical? She was at that point. She was at that point at 3 months. She was always a little more mentally ahead than other babies her age, which is strange, but she always was. My mom said I was the same way whenever I was a baby. So she was just a little more mentally ahead. She would see me leave the room, get hysterical. I would wait 5 more minutes and she would be asleep. We never had to go any longer than the 10 minutes. Never. I think maybe that first nap on that first day in the crib, she cried for an hour total. But after that, she never cried more than 10 minutes, ever. For bedtime, she never cried for bedtime. She fussed a little, she never cried. She would fuss for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, go right to sleep. By the 3rd day of sleep training, she was going to sleep on her own, no crying, no fussing. I even have a video on my Facebook of me laying her down and her instantly going right to sleep. She was awake when I laid her down. You can see her eyes open, and then she just goes to sleep. And it was amazing. It was great. At 1 year, she was mentally ahead enough that we were able to put her in a toddler bed. And she knows not to get out of that bed. When she's in the bed, it's bedtime. When she wakes up in the morning, she used to not get out of the bed when she woke up. She thought she was still in a crib. So she would sit in it and cry until I came in there and let her out. But now she knows that she can get out of it when she wakes up. So she'll get out of it. She'll kind of do around the room a little bit, kind of walk around and drag her blankets behind her. And she'll lay on the floor at the crack of the door and look under it with one eyeball. She does that thing. And she'll stick her fingers under the door. So if I hear her talking in the morning, she never cries anymore. But I'll hear, baby, baby. And I'll walk around the corner and I'll see her little fingers under the door. So it's nice. It's nice to have a 1.5-year-old that's completely toddler bed trained. I don't have to do anything now except for potty training. She's amazing. She's great. So she did a great job. That's how we sleep trained Bella. Here's what we had to do for naps. When we hit that 4-month regression, you have to cut out a nap. You have to. You have to make sure they're going to bed between 7 and 9, and you have to cut out that last nap. So they need 3 naps a day, not 4. If they're having 4, you need to cut out that last one. They don't need to be sleeping any later than 4 if they're going to sleep at 7, no later than 5 if they're going to sleep at 8, so on and so forth, until 9. So they weren't sleeping, or she wasn't sleeping after 4, which was hard. If you have a baby, you know it's hard when they're sleepy to keep them awake. So it was hard there for probably a week, transitioning from 4 naps to 3 naps, but it helped her night sleep so much because, I don't know, she was ready for bed by the time it was time for bed. But you don't want your kids to be overtired, so don't get me wrong. Do not keep your babies up all day long. Don't say, well, they'll sleep all night if they don't get a nap today. That's not how that works. They need to be well rested through the day. They need to get their naps in. They need the total amount of sleep hours that they need for a day. They need that. That will help their sleep so much if they're getting enough sleep during the day. It is so dark, and I'm so sorry. Let me turn a light on. Jeez, Brooke. It is so dark. I mean, maybe that's good. Can y'all see me a little better now? Jeez, it got dark really fast. It's 8 o'clock. Yeah, it's 8 o'clock. So anyway, don't think that, hey, I'm going to keep them all up all day long and they're going to sleep perfect tonight. It doesn't work that way, and they won't. So don't do that. We followed the easy routine, which is eat, feed them. We would have a wake time. Play, let them sit up, see new toys, listen to music, talk to them, play with them, whatever you want to do with your baby for awake time. Keep them awake for a while, as long as they'll let you. When they get fussy, sleep. That's what the S stands for, sleep. After they're asleep, you get Y. You get you time. That's what that's for. That's when you can do your dishes, or you can take a nap, or whatever you want to do. That's you time. If you follow that, man, night routine goes by so quick and it's so easy. Yeah, get it? Easy? So that's what we did with Bella. For Ellie, she's been having issues. She had a cold, and then now she's been acting like she's allergic to her soy. We went and had some scans done on her stomach and her intestines and her esophagus, literally everything in her body, and she's fine. There's nothing wrong with her. No reflux, no GERD, no intestinal blockages, nothing. So her stomach looks good. Everything looks perfect. So she's just allergic to her formula again. So not only is she milk intolerant, she is allergic to milk protein, she's allergic to soy proteins as well, which is hard. So now we have to get her on Nutrimogen to see if that helps. And if not, then we've got to figure something else out, because she has been throwing up every bottle except for her nighttime bottle, which has rice in it. So our pediatrician told us, because she's been puking for a long time. So she told us, try putting a little rice in her bottles. So we tried. She won't take rice in her bottles during the day. She will gag them back up. She does not like it during the day. The only time she'll take a rice bottle is at night. So that's the only bottle that she keeps down. So that's perfect. And I know you say, like, well, if she's hungry enough, then she'll eat whatever you give her. That is not true. That's not a true statement. My little baby, if she knows that there's rice in it, she will not eat it if it's before 7 o'clock. She won't do it. So that's been hard, and that's why she started waking up through the night, is because she was sick. And now she has gotten herself in the habit of waking up at 3 o'clock every single night, that I'm having to sleep train her, because she's 3 months old. And I just got back from the pediatrician and was given the go-ahead that she does not need those nighttime feedings. She is fat and happy. She doesn't need any extra nutrition during the night. She is fine. She's growing. She's healthy. So we were given the go-ahead to sleep train her. So that's what we're doing. We're ditching the swaddle tonight. No more swaddle. We're keeping the passy. I'm keeping the passy. That was my biggest regret with Bella, was letting her reject that passy at 3 months. We took it away cold turkey, and then I was like, we'll keep it. And I tried to give it back to her, and she didn't want it. So I regretted that, because sometimes you really want it, like in Walmart, when people are looking at you because your kid's screaming and you just want to plug it, but you can't. So I'm keeping the passy this time around for a little while. We'll break it when she's a little older. A passy's not going to hurt her right now. So pray for me, because we're trying the sleep training thing with Ellie. If she wakes up tonight, I'll pick up the camera and tell you how it's going, but hopefully she doesn't. Last night was our first night with her doing a gentle cry it out. She woke up in the middle of the night. Like I said, babies can wake up in the middle of their sleep cycles. I think that that's all that she's doing at 3 a.m. because it's at the same time every single night, and I think she's just gotten into a habit of doing it, and now she just can't stop. Because if you know, like your body, if you wake up at 6 a.m. every single morning with an alarm, and then it's the weekend and you try to sleep in, your body's going to want to wake up early anyway, because you've been waking up early. So we're going to break her. I'm trying to break her of it. I'm just so tired, and she wakes Bella up when she cries some nights. So I'm in there trying to take care of Ellie, and she's waking up Bella with her crying. So we're trying to fix it. We're trying to fix them. Hopefully things get better this week. I'll give y'all an update, maybe like a sleep training update on Ellie. Maybe do like a progression through the next couple of days of how things are going. She never cries for naps. I can lay her down in that bed, no swaddle, no anything. She'll put her arms up beside her head like this with her fists closed and just fall asleep. No crying, no fussing. I have the box fan in there. It sounds like the airplane. And she will go right to sleep. So now we just have to get her trained for nighttime, which is normally the hardest part. So I'm scared, but we're doing it. I'm not sure if I already said it in this video, but I would rather struggle for a couple of nights sleep training than to struggle for a year with no sleep. So that's what we're doing. We're just going to struggle for a couple of nights and see if we can get rid of the swaddle and get her sleeping 12 hours again, because I'm tired. And when she wakes up Bella, we've got the whole rodeo going at 3 in the morning, and I need sleep. I don't want to be lassoing kids around all night long. So we're going to try it, and we're going to see if she'll do it. She's the age that Bella was whenever we did Bella, and it worked perfect. So we're going to try it with Ellie. I'll let y'all know how it goes, but I guess it's because she's my littlest baby. It broke my heart last night listening to her cry for a few minutes. It was like the worst. She cried for 5 minutes, and then she got a little quieter, and so I left her because she was getting quieter, not louder. If they get louder, something's wrong. Go fix them. But she wasn't. She wouldn't take a bottle. I had already been in there to try. She wouldn't take a bottle, wouldn't take a passy. I wasn't about to pick that kid up, because as soon as you pick her up, she's wide awake, and then it takes an hour and a half to get her back to sleep. So I just walked out, and I shut the door, and I said, you know what? We're just going to try it tonight. And so I went to the bed, turned on the YouTube video, and watched it for a few minutes, and shut it off and listened, and she was a little quieter. So I watched for 5 more minutes, and she wasn't crying anymore. She had gone back to sleep. But I went to the bathroom and I cried because she was crying, and it broke my heart. So it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. It is hard. Get you some earphones. I know that sounds terrible, and you don't have to agree with this, but if this is the route you want to take, and you're like me and that breaks your heart, then get some headphones and watch a video. Turn on Netflix and watch Netflix. I'm not saying turn it so loud that you can't hear them. You need to hear them and make sure nothing's wrong. You know your baby's cries. You know what's up. So listen for them. But other than that, I mean, it's okay. They'll be okay. Just, if there's something wrong, fix your baby. But if there's not, and you know they're crying, you know they're just tired, then give them a minute. Give them a minute just to cry. It's okay to do that. It's not going to hurt them one bit to cry for a second. Look at Bella. She's perfectly fine. She's perfectly happy all day, all the time. And we did cry it out with her. So, I don't know. That's just what we did with our babies. I do highly recommend white noise or a box fan or something loud to drown out other noise in your house, to drown out thunderstorms or neighbors or whatever. So dogs barking, whatever you have going on at your house. Crickets wake up my kids sometimes. Just whatever. Birds. We have birds outside our windows, wakes them up. So white noise really helps. I highly recommend white noise. Highly recommend a essential oil diffuser using lavender in it. Do that. It'll calm them down so well. And a routine. So stick to a routine. Stick with a bedtime. And other than that, I guess that's all for this video, guys. If y'all have any questions for me, please let me know. I feel like I'm leaving something out, but I am just going to go ahead and get off here because it's already 40 minutes long. So, anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. And please let me know what y'all would like to see. If you'd like to see more routine videos or another clean with me video, as you can see, I've got things that need to be picked up, so I might just let it get a little dirty tomorrow and then do a clean with me. So it's totally up to y'all. I'll do whatever you want me to do. So let me know. And yeah, that'll be all for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.